water. And I can't lie, that girl, you on my. I can't lie, no. I can't lie, that girl, you on my mind. And baby, hey, I'm only trying to see, baby, if you wanna leave with me on a rendezvous. Ooh, but we can get away, baby, just me and you. And I can't lie, no. I can't lie, that girl, you on my.
And just like that, baby, we are officially live on the official Wydoe podcast, live from beautiful Fort Pierce, and I have the wonderful Georgette Angelos. How are you doing?
Doing so great.
Listen,
so great.
guys, I'm super excited. This is one of the co-owners of Chuck Seafood, famous Chuck Seafood. She's also an executive producer. Georgette, let's dive into it, okay?
Let's do it.
Let's talk a little bit about you growing up. Where are you from? Where were you raised?
Born and raised in Fort Pierce, pretty much in these four walls.
In these four walls.
Yeah. So, in our downstairs lounge is the original structure from 1961, and I've been taking my naps there since I was a baby. So I was born and raised in a Greek family from very, very strong individuals, like out of D.C. And my dad bought Chuck Seafood in 1984, and my mom was an attorney and became a judge. So
wow,
it was a lot of big personalities going on.
Wow. Now, was it your dad's goal? Was it the future for you and your sister to run Chuck Seafood? Was that always the plan?
I think that it's just has always been the vehicle. It's like getting us from point A to point B. There wasn't really any intention of me taking it over or whatever, but the world and God works in mysterious ways.
It works in mysterious ways.
You don't question the process. You just go with it. So yeah, so everything is the way it's supposed to be right now.
Well, as someone from the city, from the community, we're glad you guys are here running it because it is the best. So if anyone didn't know, this is Chuck Seafood's world famous butterfly shrimp, I should say. To you, Georgette, what is it that makes your shrimp so world famous?
We have had the same recipe since really the 40s. I mean, technically it's like the kickoff of the restaurant, but the original owners, which was Chuck and Elodie Tabor, they would have the shrimp. They'd have enough shrimp to last until like lunch. And as soon as the shrimp ran out, he closed it and that was it. And it's the authenticity of not only the taste that goes with it, but also the culture. And I think that everyone correlates those two things like heavily whenever they come to Chuck's. They're like, great, I know I'm going to get the fried shrimp, but I also know that we're going to be in a place that looks like a museum, and everyone's been coming here for a million years and have spent every birthday and da-da-da. So just like with every sense, it just is that nostalgia that never goes away, and you can't really put like a price on it.
Right. And like you said, this is basically a museum, an entertainment, history museum, everything here. You got signed autographs, signed photos, guitars all around. And a lot of this is from your guys' lifestyle in LA. Can you talk about the move to LA and what drove that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was 19 years old when I moved to LA, and it was just happenstance, my man. It was like one thing again after the other. I went to a party in Beverly Hills. I met John Phillips, who was my first boss. Wow. He discovered the band Sublime. So it's just like, it's always so great to be in a setup like this too, because again, it like takes me, it's just the best. We're in our element right now, aren't we?
Yeah, we're definitely in our element right
here. So I told him that I wanted to be a photographer for music, and he said, "Do you own a camera?" And I said yes, and I didn't. And
Smart.
Yeah, and it was all over with after that. I started my first job. I was the house photographer for Slightly Stoopid and Revolution and all those really great bands.
Wow.
Fishbone. I was just showing my friends one of my first shows that I shot for Fishbone. It was like old school ska rock, if you know that, and they're like legends. But it was like me stage diving, so it's really fun.
Right.
After that, it was just
a snowball effect.
Effect.
What do you say? What started your passion for photography?
My mom had this really awesome Linda McCartney photography book, which Linda McCartney is Paul McCartney's wife of the Beatles, and that's actually how they met. But she was backstage at every show, and this book is, I mean, like all time. It's backstage with Jimi Hendrix, backstage with the Rolling Stones, backstage, and when you're backstage like that with artists, they are in such a vulnerable position because they're about to go perform, or they're in a vulnerable position because they just got off stage performing, and you can, with everyone that I just named off, like it's very raw. And I like really just love. I mean, I like loved that. You could feel it in the photos. You know, you wanted to be there. And I think for me, I was like, I want to be a part of that secret life. You know, I want to be a part of that privacy and build that trust with artists or whoever it was that I was shooting to, you know, be there without being there. You know, it's like you're the fly on the wall, and they're also opening up to you at the same time. And it's really something that's like you can't even describe.
Yeah, I love it because almost the way I look at it is photos, you know, humanized people. Okay, that's a person, but it's almost like that. It makes it more iconic seeing a photo mid performance coming off the stage. And all your years in this Wydoe podcast, I try to do things chronological, Georgette, but we go all over the place.
Of course.
In your whole time, your whole career, ever since you went to LA, have you ever been starstruck? And who was the person that had you starstruck?
That's a really, really good question. I don't think I've ever been starstruck. I was blessed with the opportunity to be the head of production for Snoop Dogg when I was 24 years old. So, you know, I was still bopping around to all my Snoop, you know, jams leading up into that. I mean, when Beautiful came out with him and Pharrell, it was like, I think I was like 13 or something like that. I mean, so it's like, I think, and it's crazy because I worked with him so closely for so long. So I would have to be in the room, and sometimes it would just be him and I for hours. I mean, having like meetings or people were coming in and out or whatever it was, or shoots.
Right.
And I would have to like pinch myself every once in a while. So it's crazy that the one person I worked the closest with for the longest amount of time, I think I was more starstruck over. Because every time like he'd walk in the room and I was having to conduct the meeting, I like really would have to like
remind myself, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
We're on this team.
Yeah, like you're the one. You're the person right now, so
that
don't act
awesome.
stupid.
That is awesome. Shout out to the legend Snoop D-O-double-G.
Shout out to Snoop all the time.
Is that a position when you obviously started working with Snoop Dogg? Is that something that you applied for, or were you chosen for that?
No, I was chosen for it. It was really crazy. Again, happenstance, like at its finest, where like you really can't make it up. I was just helping a friend out. You know, I was doing associate producing work for what was a beginning concept, which is now Snoop's company called Mary Jane, which is a media label. And yeah, it was just, I mean, I just worked on the music video California Roll with Snoop, Pharrell, and Stevie Wonder.
Wow.
And Dog and I, like, we were like magnets, you know, and he's like, I want her to be my assistant for the day. So I was just with him the whole time, and like I'm sweeping, taking out the trash at the end of the shoot, and I'm on the phone with my sister like, today was insane, you know?
Yeah.
I really don't feel like this is the end of our road, but you never, you know, it's like you have so many, I was on so many shoots that you never saw these people again.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 weeks later, I was inside the office and he walked in. It's actually that picture right behind you.
Wow.
And I had a shag bag. My sister is a designer, and I had one for bags, and I was like, it was just this whole crazy thing. So in other words, we saw each other. He was like, holy shit, what are you doing here? And I was like, I just got asked to be here. And then again, another, like, I think it was like another month.
Right.
And the executive producer, or like the head of production, got another job, and they gave me his job.
Wow. Well, congrats for that. That is truly legendary.
Yeah.
Now, Georgette, happy birthday. She just celebrated a birthday. Happy
you
belated.
so much.
And you have a twin sister, Georgette.
Even better, we're 3 years apart, but we have
3 years.
But we have the same birthday.
I literally thought they were twins.
We're twins. We're twin
They
twin
seem like
flames
twins.
at all points in time.
When you went to LA, did your sister come along, or did you guys split?
Yeah, we split. She came about a year after I was there. Every phone call got more and more exciting, so she was just like, I've had enough of
I need to see
whatever this is, without me. So yeah, and then we lived together for 10 really beautiful years.
That is awesome. And now, for any fan out there, any movie fan, any Johnny Depp fan, anybody that watches the super legendary movie Blow, you've also worked with the iconic, legendary Boston Jung. Boston George Jung. How was that?
Oh, and again, the photos behind you are like cracking me up. It's George was the most phenomenal character I could have ever had the opportunity to work with, only because, you know, yet again, it's exactly what the book says. It's a small town boy from Massachusetts that went on to make $100 million. And it's really that, but he was such an artist and such a poet and so deep and such an intellect. It wasn't like this ragtag guy that was, you know, with like a gun and like being, it just wasn't like it's so hard to say. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Cocaine Cowboys where he was didn't give a shit about.
Couldn't be reckless.
You know, yeah, exactly. It wasn't like there wasn't lacking morality. It was more so like he's an outlaw. He's a cowboy. This is what cowboys do. But he did it in the like coolest, chillest, most conventional way possible. But you know, it's like once you make that amount of money and there's like a bunch of running around and drugs involved, like you start to just kind of lose your grip on what the deal is. So the story was phenomenal from start to finish, and it was a huge opportunity.
A lot of times in sports, when crazy things happen, people say you couldn't have even scripted that. For someone that lived a life like George Jung, I don't think you could have scripted his life. Would you agree?
No, not. I mean, they did really well with the movie, obviously, but doing the documentary and finding out what we did over the course of, you know, a few years of filming, no, you really can't make it up. And it's the same thing. I mean, there were so many different. George and I were brought together with our George and Georgette vibes.
Wow.
And I met him while I was filming with Snoop. We were all at the same kind of like whatever convention. And later on, which is crazy because then I of course became his producer and I did the documentary on his life. So to start that research process, what's the first thing you do? You read the book, you know?
Right.
So the book Blow by Bruce Porter, I started reading it. And once I was in the depths of it, at some point in life, when again, he was starting to lose his grip on things, him and Penelope Cruz's character, his wife, their sex life was kind of like wacky.
Right.
And their roles would get reversed. And he would call himself Georgette. So I'm reading the book.
Wow.
I mean, I felt like it was like a scene from like the Never-Ending Story where it was like, I must be delusional. Like I have to be tired right now or something. So it never ends. Again, the serendipity and it's just like nuts.
Right. Wow. That is legendary. I mean, guys like that, Snoop Dogg, Boston George. I mean, I grew up watching that. We had posters of Blow on the wall that was crazy. What was Johnny Depp like?
Johnny Depp was amazing. Again, from start to finish, it was. I had brought George out. We were done filming, or what we thought we were done. And I don't know, like where I just gained another set of cojones that just got me to write. You know, his management team, and they were so sweet. They wrote me back in like an hour, and I was just, you know, I just pretty much told them, George is going to pass away soon. I think that we should do them a service and get them back together before that happens, because all I've been doing was digging up George's whole life and his past, and he was really, really missing Johnny because they became so close. And and then they asked me to come out to. They said, "Come, bring George out to his show." He's in part of a band called the Hollywood Vampires, with Joe Perry from Aerosmith and Alice Cooper. And I took George out there, and again, it was just, Johnny was so cool and so nice and very, very sweet, and was so happy to see George, because, you know, it's someone that was looking at him that didn't give a shit about who he was. He didn't care that it's Johnny Depp. You know what I mean? Like, they are just two dudes, two guys, like, together that really, like, love and respect each other without any type of anything else attached. You know, it's a guy named George and a guy named Johnny. And then... So yeah, and then Johnny filmed with us. We filmed with him for hours and hours, and he didn't charge us a cent. It was like, really, I mean, like, gives me chills even to this day. And I've had the opportunity to be with Johnny multiple times, like, since then. He met my parents. I just was with him in Paris. It was just crazy.
Wow, that is awesome. I mean, his role in the movie Blow immortalized Boston George. You've immortalized him with your docuseries, so that is truly awesome. And now, Georgette, when you work with guys like Johnny Depp, Boston George Jung, Snoop Dogg, at what point is it just Snoop? Or is he always Snoop Dogg in your head as you're working with him, or does it ever become, all right, that's just Snoop?
No, we had so many. I mean, I'm super close with his family. I'm very close with his children. I love and respect everything he has going on, and he is that family guy that he is depicted as. Even, you know, because again, it stinks when you're like when you're a good person and you get highlighted for all of your good things. But I think that it speaks volumes to the public, because he is a global mogul in that regard. So I think it's good for people to see that that's really, but I mean, that's really how he is. So I had a lot of just Snoop moments. You know, we had a lot of times of just relaxing and talking about life and whatever it was. And like I said, like when you become close with their family as well, it like takes it to a different element. And it's just Trust.
Georgette, is it true that if Snoop Dogg ever passes somebody the blunt, they have to accept it?
Yes.
It's kind of mandatory,
Yes, I've
right?
learned that. I learned that the hard way on a lot of different occasions. And I would beg, I'm like, I have to focus today. Like, we have to do this. And it was like not taking no for an answer. So
this is Snoop Dogg, guys.
yeah, you gotta hold it down in that circle though. You can't definitely,
Back to Chuck Seafood, Georgette. Obviously every dish is great here, but you've been coming here for so long. To you, Georgette, what is your favorite Chuck Seafood dish?
It's such a great question that I get asked a lot. We have stuffed grouper, which is really amazing because all of our grouper is as fresh as it can possibly be.
Right.
And then it's stuffed with crab meat. So it's like you get the best of both worlds. And then obviously the fried shrimp. Because again, the nostalgia, then the authenticity.
Right. It's just the same.
But everything's really
now,
good.
Georgette, you're one of the first women restaurant owners that I've had on my show. And I love to have different kind of roles, different kind of professions, especially with the ladies, just to kind of show you have a chance out there. You can make it in whatever you want to do.
Absolutely.
This is a true boss lady. As the owner, some people might have a different kind of conception of what you do. As the owner of Chuck Seafood, Georgette, what roles can you do here?
We really should be doing every role. With that being said, so I mean, my staff has seen me on my hands and knees scrubbing every corner of this place, to doing the dishes, to I cut shrimp in a therapeutic way.
Yeah.
Just on a daily basis. I'm probably gonna go do that after we're done. And you just really do everything, and that. Nothing is ever beneath you, and everything is your fault. That is the method. That's the methodology of running a very heavy business with a lot of different personalities and a lot of different things going on. It is not a finger pointing game. It is like, where did I go wrong?
Yeah.
That my staff thought that this was a good idea, or that this is something that could be going on, or it was beneath them to do A through Z that has now led to, you know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
It's like this huge domino effect of like figuring out how to make sure something doesn't happen again, but it starts with me. Right. And I know that for a fact because it's either a lack of communication or I didn't impress upon them enough what I was meaning the first 8 times I said it.
Yeah.
But no matter what, that's what it is. Everything's your responsibility.
I love that. Just obviously, we have some bosses, CEOs, just sit back, collect the check, come in when they need to. But I think it's really cool when an owner can step in. If a staff member's gone, you can do each role if needed. I think that's super, super cool.
Absolutely.
For you, how important is the team?
Oh my gosh, my team is everything. My team's everything for so many different reasons. We're a huge support system to each other. And I've had other business owners in town ask me how things, like, why is your staff so happy? It's like renowned now. And again, it's just, you have to humanize yourself at all points in time with your people, because that's what they're doing. They have children and lives and whatever coming in. It's hard to leave your problems at the door. But we all love each other, I think, in a lot of like different ways and respect each other. So that's number one. My staff is everything to me.
I love that.
On a personal and business basis.
Georgette, as the CEO or as the boss and the owner, are you always clocked in?
Yeah, absolutely. I dream about the restaurant, which is sick. But I just called my chef a couple mornings ago, and I told her a dream that I had about, someone leaving a door unlocked or something ridiculous.
Wow.
So like I've come down here in the middle of the night to like check the doors and check the blah blah blah, and I'm checking the cameras and. But again, I mean, we're in paradise. I've had so many other jobs that like I know that for me to be living and breathing this one is pretty sweet.
Yeah. And I always like to say that just because, like I said, I like to show the reality of this show. A lot of people these days are weird about 9 to 5s. Yeah. And a lot of people don't like to be a worker and want to be the boss, but the boss is hard. Boss has a lot of responsibilities. 9 to 5, you get to leave and go home. Yeah. She's always clocked in.
No, the boss is super hard, and it's like definitely be careful what you wish for, because I do have those moments of envying, people that are going
just
home.
Let me go home and just clock out.
All right, we're done. Like you punch it and you're out, and then there's nothing else to think about, and you just kind of walk in and everything's perfect again, and like set up.
Right.
But it's to each their own. It's if everyone was going to be the boss, you know what I mean.
We wouldn't be able to go nowhere. No one would actually build the building.
Yeah.
So, Georgette, I want to ask you, is this a myth? Okay, a lot of people say be careful with doing business with family. To you, what is it like working and doing business with family?
Oh, it's very, very hard. It is definitely not a myth. It's for real. We've had our trials and tribulations. My father is, again, a very strong character, and has a very strong personality, but it's kind of like we're looking in a mirror at the same time. So that makes it harder because him and I are very, very, very much the same.
Wow.
So it's been like a lot of, tug of war back and forth of, this is how I'm going to run things. And, I'm very, I like to really calmly handle things. And the old school Greek way of doing things is not that. It's very much rolling with an iron fist, which also works. There's a lot of times where I'm like, should I be being harder on everyone? Because, as soon as he walks through the door, everyone gets like a real pep in their step. And,
Gotcha.
but I've never done anything in a fear-driven manner. And that's where we kind of have this momentum that goes back and forth, but we make it work because because if you love and respect them to the degree that I love and respect my father, everything else is pretty much relative. So you just try to make it work, and I have to mediate a lot, but it works.
Obviously, Chuck Seafood, world famous. We've been open since 1961, as you mentioned. But what is your future plans for Chuck Seafood?
I have so many. My future plans for Chuck Seafood, it's actually such great timing for us to be doing this podcast because we just closed on the property. So my father's leased the property for the past 40 years from the county, and we now own Chuck Seafood entirely.
Wow.
We always own the entity, but now we own the property that it sits on, and then I own the old firehouse that's also right directly next to us.
Right.
So
Congratulations for that.
thank you so much. So yeah, I'm super excited because I can, that's like, it's just the world is our oyster over there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to continue to build it out and have a bunch of fun. I want it to be like a theme park. It's like kind of whatever you're in the mood to do, we have that for you. Whether it's fine dining or pulling up on the boat or being with your kids down on the beach in the water or whatever the case may be, like there is something for someone to do here. And you can be dressed to the nines or you can be in your bathing suit barefoot. I mean, both things are happening in here at all points in time. And I think that it's great because it mirrors a lot of like how my family is also, where, I grew up barefoot in a bathing suit running around. But, if you ask me to go to dinner at the White House the next day, like that also works. And we also will be there for that. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's what Chuck Seafood is for sure.
Georgette, you mentioned you were Greek. Has there ever been any plate smashing here in Chuck Seafood?
Oh, so much. My sister just got married last year. My sister, actually, this is so important. My sister just had a baby yesterday too.
Congratulations.
So she was born, baby Eleni was born pretty much on our birthdays. It was my dad's birthday yesterday and our birthday the day before.
Wow.
So it's been a really fun week. Yes, my sister got married here last year and there was 350 people and it was, I still feel like if I like really got out a magnifying glass, I'd be able to find some glass somewhere. Yeah, pieces of plates here, there, and everywhere for sure.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
For you, Georgette, what's the most rewarding part about owning Chuck Seafood?
The legacy. I'm a part of something that has put a lot of stress and blood, sweat, and tears for my father and everyone else that's been a part of this process of building us up to what we are today. My daughter's in here all the time and she's amazing and is, seating people with menus and she's 4 and she's like the boss now too. And it's just super fun. I mean, it's super fun. It's nice because again, I'm a part of that vehicle, that's continuing to press forward and not only for my family, but everyone else's families that, with everyone that's employed here or everyone who, hangs their hat on coming here for their birthday and Mother's Day and whatever the case may be. So we're a part of a very huge legacy, not only our own, but everybody else's that's been coming here for years. So to be that person to help that is again, a huge opportunity.
Super special because this is the go-to spot for any special occasion, I will say. For you, Georgette, what's the difference or the similarities between a day here at Chuck Seafood and a day on set working in LA?
Concept to completion. You walk through the door as a producer. You make sure that your staff is there on time. You make sure that everyone's in the right places at the right time. Everyone is responsible for themselves because you're going like this. There's 10 million things different that are happening to get to, 3 p.m. when we open the doors or to get when someone calls for us to start shooting. So, I mean, it's literally like from action to action. I mean, it's like, and then it's the same thing when you come to the end of a day at set, everyone knows what they have to do and everyone's cleaning and putting everything away properly. And you're just manning the ship and you're making sure that, there was a lot of times on set that there were things going so awry. I mean, major fires to be putting out, but then you're sitting there with your clients from MGM, and you have to act like there is not one thing wrong on the planet, and things are going so smoothly, it's crazy, and they would have never detected anything, and that's what happens at the restaurant all the time. I mean, if you ever see me without like a really nice big smile on my face, like there has to be something
going off.
Literally on fire. Like, because other than that, you would never detect or you would never know. And it's really funny because I come up when we're having really busy nights and I'll say to the staff, Hollywood. Like as soon as I say Hollywood, they know that they need to change their faces from being stressed to like, we're here. We're here and we're here to serve you. And that's what we're doing. And that's what we had to do on set too. Like anytime anyone started talking about a problem, we were like, I'm like, do not discuss this
Hollywood.
At all.
Hollywood,
baby.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people know perception is reality.
Yeah, it really is like a concept to completion day with a million different personalities going on and managing that. And that's, it's really funny that you said that because I put that in perspective for people a lot where I'm like, it's very, they're like, how did you transfer over from Hollywood to this the way that you have? I'm like, it's very linear lives. It's very much like, you have to get your staff together properly and you have to put the strongest people in place to accomplish the goal.
I love it. So to you, Georgette, what are your honest thoughts here, good and bad, about LA? No when's the last time you've been back, but
I was just there 2 weeks ago. I'm about to be there in 2 weeks again. LA is, I honestly wish there was more originality and character, but then I've been seeing a lot of really great shows and movies coming out that aren't talked about enough, I don't think. So maybe I've been like, I'm jaded, but again, when I moved to LA, I was on like, Jim Morrison, Venice Beach Dreams, old school stuff. Going up into the Hollywood Hills and stumbling into like the so-and-who and so-and-so's living room that's having a party and there's 5 million other, like, there's everyone from rock and roll to celebrities to whatever. And I think that like now everyone is so far shoved up their own asses sorry to say that, but like that it's like, you know what I mean? It's like not fun to have fun anymore. So it's unfortunate, but there are those people that are still doing that. We are still like I'm in the middle of a huge production right now and and I'm with a lot of creators that are just really OG cool people, you know what I mean? That are just totally get it and they haven't let LA take over who they are, and we're just filmmakers that are just trying to make cool shit, pretty much.
I love that. So last couple ones I have for you, Georgette, I always ask these questions on my show. If you were to go back 10, maybe 15 years ago, tell Georgette where you're at, what you're doing now, would she have believed it then?
No, she would not have believed it, but it yet again goes back to if you would have seen me before then and told me what I was going to be doing 10, 15 years ago, I wouldn't have believed me then either. So,
no way.
I never really put anything past me at all.
Another one is the $1 million question, Georgette. If I had $1 million here for you and you had to make 2 phone calls, one person has to pick up and the other person cannot pick up, what 2 people would you call?
Oh my gosh. That's so probably my sister and my boyfriend, I guess.
Who's picking up and who's not picking up?
I don't know who's not picking up and I don't know who's picking up, but those are like the 2 go-tos most likely.
I love it. If you're on an island for 1 month and you can only listen to 3 artists, who would they be?
Oh, that's a great question. Erykah Badu.
Wow. Legend.
Yeah. Probably like one of these in here, like the Beatles.
One of the many people
the
that
Beatles,
are here with us now.
Because the Beatles is such a long range, so you can listen to the Beatles and have 8 different vibes going on.
Yeah.
And the third, I don't know. I've like really been into Tom Misch lately. You know who that is?
I have no clue what Tom Misch is.
Look him up. Look him up. He's out of London. He's good. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Again, like
over the pond. We'll take it there.
Yeah. Totally. So something along that. It's just like all like nice chill vibes.
Georgette, you mentioned you have children. To you, once you had a child, did life slow down or did it speed up for you?
Both. It slowed down in a sense of, I was on a plane like every 2 weeks before I was a mom. And now I'm not. Mm-hmm. But in the same vein, like I'm so busy, and I'm now, when you become a parent, it's not about you anymore. So I've already lived so much life that it's easy for me to slow down and be focusing on gymnastics and play dates and you know what I mean? Like I have a dog, like it's like all things are like that like really buckle you down that I was so afraid to do. Like even thinking about it in my 20s was like super scared.
Right.
Where I was like, hell no, I don't want to. No, like I like need to keep going, keep moving, and then you become a mom and you don't care about those things anymore.
See what it really all matters.
Yes.
I love it. Well, Georgette, listen, thank you so much for having us here.
Oh, thank you so
we
much.
are live from Chuck's Seafood. The last question I want to ask you, we obviously see what you're doing. We know you out here do it all the time, but Georgette, who do you do it for?
I do it for everybody, of course, but I do it for my daughter and I do it for my family.
That's the most important answer right there. Georgette, thank you so much.
Thank
this
you
is
so
the
much.
legendary Georgette Angelos, live from Chuck's Seafood, the world's famous Chuck's Seafood. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, I'm only trying to see, baby, if you wanna leave with me on a rendezvous. Ooh, well, we can get away, baby, just me and you. And I can't lie, no, I can't lie, that girl, you on my mind. And baby, hey, I'm only trying to see, baby, if you wanna leave with me on a rendezvous. Ooh, but we can get away, baby, just me and you.